Hello, I'm Andrew Gray, and today I'm going to read to you a short excerpt from Dumped in Oz. Today we're going to take a very short trip to Kansas, and the scene I'm going to read for you is towards the end of chapter 1, where Lyle and Roger first start to notice one another. As he headed to the sidewalk, he saw Roger lock the door before jogging down the stairs. Lyle waved and continued across the street into the park. It was gorgeous, with shade trees, paths, and playgrounds, like most parks. He also passed a fountain and a cannon set in concrete, continuing his stroll down a footpath that led over to a bridge where a small pond narrowed. People fished off the bank, and Lyle saw a small wooden model boat landing near shore where a father and son operated a remote-controlled yacht. Lyle stood on the bridge, leaning against the rail, just watching. "Nice, isn't it?" a familiar voice said. Lyle turned as Roger joined him on the bridge. "It is. What is it about this town?" "What do you mean?" Roger asked. "It seems so perfect." Roger chuckled lightly. "Most folks who live here grew up here, and we believe in taking care of what we have. Everyone pitches in to take care of the park and keep the town clean. There isn't a lot, but we do okay. A lot of people in town work either at the feed mill or at Caterpillar. Some work at the shoebox warehouse too. And there are lots of farmers and farm support. It's like stepping back in time." "That it is. Since we don't have a lot, we want to preserve what we do have. Years ago, when folks started tearing down the old buildings to create new, some folks got together to try to rescue what was still around," he explained, motioning towards a cluster of small buildings. "So we started the Wamego Museum. We moved the old buildings to one location, just like we moved the windmill into the park. Folks are proud of their town. That's obvious. Do you get a lot of visitors? The Oz stuff brings in a few tourists and curiosity seekers, but mostly it's just us. Except for during Oztoberfest. Then the town fills up with people wearing green everything. It's a real Emerald City, and the characters come out all over the place. People dress as their favorite characters from the movie. Basically, everyone has a good time. I'll look forward to it." "Then you'll be here a while?" Roger said. "About a year. They put me up at the inn for a couple weeks, but I need to find a place to live. I figured I'd ask around at work to see if anyone knows of anything. I understand a lot of them live in Manhattan. But this is so nice." "It's too quiet for some folks," Roger said, leaning on the railing next to him. "I think quiet is nice. Harrisburg isn't big as cities go, but it's noisy and fast." His condo building always had people coming and going. Lyle turned to look at Roger and saw him looking back. Lyle's belly did a little flip as he recognized the interest in Roger's eyes. Then it vanished and Roger turned. Lyle stifled a sigh as he watched the remote control boat glide under the bridge. He turned and watched as it floated out the other side and made a lazy circle on the water before starting its return trip. "I could use some quiet." Lyle heard the kid laugh as his father handed him the controls. From the bridge, Lyle saw the kid smile as he took the controls. The boat glided back to the center of the pond and then began making all kinds of circles and loops. Lyle turned back toward Roger, and he could have sworn Roger turned away just as he began looking. Lyle opened his mouth to say something, but Roger pushed away from the railing. "I'm sure I'll see you around," he said. Before Lyle could open his mouth, Roger had turned and started striding back along the path through the park. Lyle watched him go, wondering what had happened. He shrugged and pushed away from the rail itself, continuing across the bridge and on closer to the stone windmill. Lyle looked around the stone structure and saw Roger coming up the other way. He watched him for a few moments and realized he was being watched in return. Lyle walked over to where Roger stood. As he approached, Lyle once again saw a quick flash of desire, and then, just like before, it was gone, and Roger turned away.